What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? We'll find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay a price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Well, I have a great big fresh batch of crimes, but for now, they're withholds. That's right. I've got withholds and overts. Yeah, OWs. That's what I have. My life is full of them. And you're going to have to get me on the cans to find out more. Hello, everybody. This is Mark Bunker broadcasting from the intergalactic headquarters of Xenu TV. We're seen throughout this entire sector of the galaxy, and we're coming right here from the capital of our intergalactic. Oh, for God's sakes! We're here in Clearwater, Florida, is what I'm trying to say. It's going to be quite a show tonight. Oh, hello, fuzzy pink handcuffs. Nice to see you here. Goblin AFK, nice to see you. Hello. Welcome to everyone who's starting to roll in here. I have been busy all weekend capturing video. Like you see, let me show you this. These are just a couple of the videotapes. I have these high definition mini DVs that were from the period of, say, around 2008 when Anonymous came forward, and to I guess somewhere I started using a different camera and just my phone nowadays, because the iPhone has better quality than the $2,000 camera I have sitting in the other room here. But I've got all this stuff that I spent the weekend capturing, amazing stuff that I'll be rolling out here. Some of it from the Las Vegas conference of the Free Zoners. I mentioned that in a previous thing here. I got a lot of protests. I've got some anonymous, and plenty more. Hola to you, Deanna Ross. Nice to see you here. Marcy's here. Hello, Marcy. Woo woo. I appreciate y'all coming by. So I've got all this amazing stuff that I've captured. Protests at Gold, and tons of stuff. And then I started to edit it today. And I brought it into DaVinci, which is the program I use now to edit everything. And the aspect ratio is wrong. When I just play a clip, it plays fine. But if I put it into the editing software, it's like, so I have to figure out how to sort that out. And I will. Trust me. But I didn't have time to actually get any of that material prepared for tonight. But trust me, there's great stuff in the future here. What I've got tonight is, we've been digging into the radio archives. Let's go back to see a TV show, one of the earliest that I recorded. Who else is here? Oh my God, it's David Miscavige. Everybody kind of look down. You'll see him down there. Hello, David. Nice to see you, Slappy. Thanks for coming by. This is very exciting to have COB here. Thank you so much for coming by. And now what am I going to say? Because David's, he's the worst spy ever, isn't he? Normally somebody would come in and report back to David about what's going on here, but now he's here. And I'm so embarrassed that I call him Slappy. Anyway. Hey, Slappy. Whoa. You dirty. Hi, Prunes Bunker, you lousy stinking. You are a cult leader, for God's sakes. Hey, Marcy's amused. Okay. Who's this? Jay? Bunky, perfect timing. I just woke up from a nap. Me too. At least it feels like I have. I haven't. I'm still asleep, I believe. But still going to have a lot of fun here with everything we're going to talk about and show. By the way, I'm no spoilers, but if you're like me, you loved and admired the season finale of Severance. And I won't say anything more about it except that it was very fulfilling, and now I can't wait to see what happens next. That's the annoying thing about a season ending. If it's a good show, now we have to wait for more. But it won't be like the 3-year wait we had between season 1 and season 2. They promised there'll be no COVID shutdown this time, and they'll be able to start work on it shortly. Still in the middle of the second season, says Kelly. Well, you've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. There's only one episode I wasn't crazy about, and that's fine. You can have one that's. But I thought they went to some really interesting places, things that I didn't predict. Hey, speaking of predicting things, I just started watching a show from, I think it's on Netflix, called Paradise, and I'm enjoying that. I read a lot of great stuff about it, but there's the thing that I kept hearing. Oh, there's twists. There's lots of twists and turns in this thriller. Okay, but then there really are twists in this thing, and I'm not going to say anything else about it except if you haven't seen it, give it a shot because it's extremely well made, and it keeps you going. You finish one episode, you want more, and that's the way they plan it. They get to an ending and go, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. And then you want to dig right in and see, okay, now what does this mean? And it means that they're going to have something else to surprise you at the end of the next episode. So it's really worth checking out if you haven't seen it yet. It's called Paradise, and that's the name of the city that this takes place in. Has Paradise been out for a while? I have just seen the couple of the stars of the show on talk shows recently, so I assumed it's a relatively new one. Although I think there's other shows that have been called Paradise in the past. This one is Paradise 2025. If you look in the TVDB, the television database. Okay. Is it blood and guts? Not really. There's a little bit of blood, but that's not what it's about. It's not like The Monkey, where people are dying in incredible ways, or like Boys, where the Boys, that stuff happens there too. This is a murder mystery, but it's not an ultra violent one. Yeah. In fact, so far I haven't really seen any violence. You see some repercussions of it, but that's about it. Hemet, California is Miss Cabbage's Paradise. You lousy rotten cult leader, you. Oh, look at here. Who's here? Rochelle. Hello. Everybody say hello to Rochelle. Nice to have you all here tonight. So I don't have anything original from stuff that I've shot to show you tonight. I have one of the first TV shows that I captured and put online, and this aired December 28th, 1997. This show is about Scientology's takeover of the Cult Awareness Network. And It's a really terrific show. The other one we watched already. That was the one where Heber Jenks goes nuts on live TV with Bryant Gumbel. That was about the death of Lisa McPherson. So this one's about the takeover of the Cult Awareness Network, which is, just amazing that, Scientology was able to, through the courts, destroy this place, buy up all the remnants, and then open it up again with Scientologists manning the phone lines. So when grieving parents call in saying, I think my child's sucked into his dangerous cult called Scientology, the person on the line can say, oh, no. Scientology is a wonderful, wonderful organization. And you should come down to the org and check it out. Hey, buy a book. So that Heber and Priscilla interview was amazing. Can't beat it. Well, let's see if we can top it tonight. We've got a show that really, caught my attention. And that was when I was sitting there reading Alt Religion Scientology. So it's even a little earlier than I thought. I always considered I started this activism in 98, but this is the very end of 97 that this aired. Reading Alt Religion Scientology and posting there under a fake name of Ben Wog, or as I later gave myself a doctorate and became Dr. Benjamin Wog. I did that for a couple of years until Scientology came to my home and picketed me, at which point I said, well, now I'm Mark Bunker. There you go. Now I'm not afraid anymore. There are a lot of people who are able to write great things. I thought, how can I help? What I can do? I can put video online. So that's what I did with this show and that Bryant Gumbel show as well. Why don't we take a look at this show, and then we can talk about anything you want to talk about. Okay. So I tried upscaling this. It's not really good. There's some stuff in here that looks really lousy, like anything with text. The program had a hard time with, and shots that are in the distance, they look crappy. When people are, in a close-up, it looks okay. That's what we have to look forward to here. And I say, let's get to it. And when I say let's get to it, I mean I have to push the buttons here. All right, here we go.
There was a time, if you were worried about your son or daughter being in a cult, you could get help from a small nonprofit organization called the Cult Awareness Network, or CAN. For 20 years, the nation's best-known resource for information and advice about groups it considered dangerous. Among them was Scientology, a church not known for turning the other cheek. But church officials say Scientology is just another tax-exempt religion that helps millions of people worldwide, including actors John Travolta and Tom Cruise. And while Scientology did attack its enemies in the past, church officials say they don't do that anymore.
Oh.
But recently, the Cult Awareness Network was forced into bankruptcy, and its leaders blame the Church of Scientology. Today, CAN is under new management.
Hello, Cult Awareness Network.
Now when you call looking for information about a cult, chances are the person you're talking to is a Scientologist. Ashley's one, so is Bob. Everyone we met in the office was a Scientologist. Last year, a member of the church bought CAN's name, logo, and hotline number in bankruptcy court for $20,000.
This is
Evil.
a dream come true for Scientology.
Stacy Young would know. She was a member of the church for 15 years, including its Elite C organization. She also worked in the Office of Special Affairs and was managing editor of its Freedom magazine. She left in 1989 and has been a paid consultant in lawsuits against Scientology.
The Cult Awareness Network was the only organization in the country where parents could call and say, you know, I've lost my child into this cult. What do I do?
She says Scientology sets out to destroy anyone who criticizes it.
Someone who speaks publicly against Scientology is targeted for a campaign of harassment, character assassination, financial ruin. There's a policy that says specifically, if possible, ruin them utterly.
She's talking about a church directive, this one, the Fair Game Law, that says a person or group that publicly criticizes the church is fair game and can be destroyed. Stacy Young and others do not believe the church when it says it no longer harasses its enemies. Now the church says Scientology, originally known as Dianetics, is a benevolent religion with anti-drug programs and literacy projects that helps its followers increase their confidence. A central doctrine goes like this. 75 million years ago, a tyrant named Xenu transported people from outer space to Earth, dropped them in volcanoes, then exploded hydrogen bombs on them. That experience is the root of all human misery today. Scientology offers to help people overcome that misery.
By the way, I'm happy David Miscavige is here tonight to see OT3 right there on CBS, going out to the world. That'll teach you for coming here and being re-stimulated.
Charging as much as $50,000 in a year. It's one of the reasons why Time magazine calls Scientology the cult of greed. One of Time's principal sources was Cynthia Kisser, who was Cannes executive director. You said, quote, Scientology is quite likely the most ruthless, the most classically terroristic, the most litigious, and the most lucrative cult the country has ever seen. Whoa, that was very powerful. Do you stand by that?
Oh, more than ever. More than ever. I mean, everything they've done since then just proves that quote.
Cynthia Kisser says a fair game attack on Cannes started in the 1980s. And Stacy Young says she was part of it.
Some of the staff who were assigned to the Cult Awareness Network would brief us about
I mean, there were
some
people
of the...
specifically assigned.
Oh, yes. That was their whole job. That was all they did.
Was Cannes.
Was Cannes. That's right. And so our whole orientation was, well, what have you done this week to get rid of Cannes? And how well have you done to discredit the leaders of Cannes? How much progress have you made on disrupting this group?
To do it, she says the church used picketers at Cannes conventions and waged smear campaigns.
Now, before we get to Moxon, he's a smear campaign in himself there. Just answer a quick question from Tom, from YouTube watcher. Tom DeVock just started a Substack account to share his story. By chance, do you have any of the interviews with Tom? No. I was supposed to when I was on my whirlwind trip all across the country. I had an interview set up with him twice, and he just never showed up. So therefore, I don't have one. But I'm interested to see more of what he has to say. Okay. Kelly, were you trying to find the Substack? Is that what you're looking for? If so, somebody help her out. She's helping you all the time. She's helping me. She's helping everybody. I mentioned something, boom, she's out there on the net getting the URL. Okay. I found a very few Tom DeVock videos, but thought maybe I had something in storage. I wish I did. No, unfortunately not. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Kelly is the best helper. All right. I believe we have this video here with this evil Miscavige, you're going to be happy how well Moxon does here. Kendrick Moxon. I'm going to hide that, and then I'm going to play this just like that. This is smooth. I'm a professional. So
Kendrick Moxon does most of the church's legal work and he's a devout Scientologist. We are told, Mr. Moxon, that a small army of private investigators was hired by your law firm to go out and dig up dirt on members of CAN, Cynthia Kisser specifically, and anything else they could find. Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Now, a lot of lawyers hire private eyes to dig up dirt on people. I mean, now we are even hearing...
I don't know. I know, I've heard that people do that, and I know that the media does that, but I don't know that a lot of lawyers do that. I don't do that.
He acknowledges using private detectives, but not for the purpose of digging up dirt. But former private eye Michael Schomer says Moxon's law firm hired him to do just that.
Find the sleaze, to find the hidden alcoholism, to find the hidden drug abuse, if that was the case.
The sex life.
The sex lives.
Bad debts.
Correct.
He says he got his marching orders during a meeting right in the Scientology church in Washington, D.C. He says a staffer briefed him on CAN and jotted down notes that Schomer's kept. He says he...
By the way, we'll get back to this in a moment, but I did pay a visit to that org right there. It was a place, I guess, where L. Ron Hubbard also... Did he live there for a while? I don't remember. Anyway, probably not. I did get a tour of the whole place, and they allowed me to videotape in there. The guy who was doing the tour didn't want himself to be, or his voice to be on tape, but it was really interesting to visit the place and see, L. Ron's office. It was right there with the cools on the table and everything. Yeah, every org, stop by, you'll find it. Okay. Hey, more of this.
He was told to investigate CAN and its purported allies, IRS officials, and Congressman Henry Waxman of California. And he was told to dig up enough dirt on Cynthia Kisser to destroy her reputation and intimidate her into silence. It says topless dancer at the Blue Note in Tucson, Arizona, Cynthia Kisser.
That's correct.
So did you investigate that?
Yes, I did.
Was she a topless dancer?
No.
Did you tell the Church of Scientology
Yes, I did.
that these allegations were not true?
That's correct.
I don't know if she's a topless dancer
Did
or
you
not.
tell our producer that you didn't believe that was true?
I told your producer that I thought, looking at Cynthia Kisser, it seemed improbable that she could have been a topless dancer because of the way she looks.
Yet, despite his own view and the evidence from
Isn't he a sweet guy?
investigator Schomer's, Moxon, also a minister in the church, persisted in bringing it up.
I mean, we got a declaration already indicating that she had been a topless dancer.
I can't believe you're continuing to talk about her being a topless dancer.
Why? That was one of the allegations.
But you even said you don't even think she was one. It's character assassination.
I don't... Leslie, there's a declaration from a woman swearing that she was a topless dancer.
Were you a topless dancer?
No, and later the person that they claimed told them that retracted it, issued a retraction saying that it wasn't true.
Kisser says Scientology also used its publications to label CAN a criminal outfit and then contacted police and members of Congress with specific charges. President of the Church of Scientology, Reverend Heber Jensch, repeated the accusations to us.
Kidnapping people, holding them against their will, beating up on people, pistol whipping, safe houses where they held people against their will, rape of their victims, that sort of thing.
Jensch accuses CAN of kidnapping people out of cults and then trying to deprogram them. Defenders of the practice call these rescues, which are perfectly legal when they involve youngsters under 18. But Scientology says CAN was involved in illegal deprogramming of adults, and they sent us reams of documents they say are examples, including the sworn declaration of a former deprogrammer named Mark Bloxham.
I've got it right here. Mark Bloxham said he was involved in a number of kidnappings. He said he was involved in one with Cynthia Kisser, where he actually worked for CAN. He got many referrals from CAN. He said most of his referrals were from CAN.
So we tracked down Mark Bloxham and asked him about it. How would you describe that sworn declaration of yours?
It's embellished, to say the least.
It's not true.
You lied.
Yes, I did.
Why did you lie?
I saw it as a means to maybe support my habit.
He says he was a drug addict when he signed that declaration 5 years ago after he was approached by one of Moxon's private detectives. Bloxham maintains there was an implied promise of money, which never materialized, if he could implicate Can and Kisser in illegal deprogramming. Clean and sober now, Bloxham wants to set the record straight.
Well, I spoke with Kendrick Moxon not long ago.
Did you tell him you had lied?
Yes, and it irritates me that they persist in using this statement as a propaganda tool to support their position about Cult Awareness Network.
But the church accuses Can of coercing Bloxham's change of testimony. For its part, Can says that while it did permit deprogrammers to attend its conventions, it was never involved in illegal deprogramming, and in fact, Can was never charged with a crime. Even Michael Schomers, the church's own investigator, couldn't find any evidence of one. Did you ever find that they were deprogramming people or involved in that?
Never heard anybody at any meeting at any time.
Ever mentioned deprogramming?
No.
So when you sent your reports in to the Church of Scientology, were they disappointed with you?
Yes, they were. They just keep on going. There had to be something. They knew that there just had to be something. But there simply wasn't anything.
Cynthia Kisser says the church's final assault on Can began when hundreds of Scientologists from around the country wrote virtually identical letters asking to become members of Can. Included among them was this model letter with instructions to be put in your own words. Fearing, she says, the church was out to take control of Can, Kisser denied their applications to join. Can was then hit with a barrage of lawsuits by individual Scientologists claiming religious discrimination.
I got hit with 12 suits in 1 week. I would open the door, a process server would give me a suit. They were suing us all over the country, sometimes simultaneously.
In all, Can was hit with more than 50 lawsuits. Even though most of the suits were eventually dropped or won by Can, she says the cost of defending them, nearly $2 million, drove Can to the brink of bankruptcy. Would you concede, Reverend Jensch, that at least part of the motivation for the lawsuits was to get Can, was to silence them?
I would say that the individuals who were involved definitely wanted to do something about Can. What are you going to do when they're trying to destroy you? Look, if you're a Jew, if you're a Jew, no Jew is going to cry about the fact that the Nazi Party is gone. If you're an African American, no one's going to cry that the KKK is gone. I'm not crying because Can is gone. Okay, they were a vicious group. They tried to destroy us.
My question is, would you concede that at least part of what happened with those lawsuits was a deliberate attempt to harass and intimidate them into silence?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you're not going to make us believe that there were these 30 or 50 lawsuits. It's all sprang up, just serendipitously.
They didn't spring up serendipitously. A number of Scientologists came to our firm and said, I'm being discriminated against by Can. We had these complaints in the computer.
Who was telling them to try to join?
Nope. Oh, who was telling them to try to join Can in the first place?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a kind of a grassroots movement of Scientologists that wanted to go to Can and dialogue with them.
50 people all across the country suddenly all decided in unison, we need to sue Can. I don't think so. This is not the way it works.
Stacy Young says she sat in on staff meetings where the litigation campaign against Can was discussed.
Once they put Can in their sights with regard to litigation, it was only a matter of time before they were going to find a case that they could use to put them out of business.
That case came in the person of Jason Scott, an 18-year-old member not of Scientology, but of a fringe Pentecostal church in Bellevue, Washington. One of Can's volunteers referred Jason's mother to a deprogrammer who kidnapped Jason. Can was never charged in the case, and the deprogrammer who was acquitted. Jason says a lawyer in Moxon's firm then recommended that he file a civil suit.
He's like, this thing is worth millions. Let's get him.
Did they specifically say that you should sue Can?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, that was the kicker, is Can. We gotta get Can involved.
So Jason sued. Kendrick Moxon was his lawyer. And despite CAN's insistence that it had nothing to do with illegal deprogramming, the jury disagreed. So did the judge. And the $1.8 million CAN was ordered to pay Jason forced it into bankruptcy.
Hello, Cult Awareness Network.
And that's why when you visit CAN's new headquarters in Hollywood, you can find out about all the good things the church is doing.
God.
Since Stacey Young began speaking out, she believes the church has waged a fair game attack against her, including what she calls attempts to sabotage her business, a small nonprofit animal sanctuary in Seattle. The church denies it. We, on the other hand, deny the church's accusation that we have a conflict of interest in this story because producer Richard Bonin has an aunt who's a lawyer involved in litigation against the church. Though that's true, our producer's Aunt Lita had nothing to do with our story.
Oh, evil Aunt Lita. Lita? Yeah, whatever. Well, there you go. It's a fascinating story. I'm glad I could dig that up and share that with you. Got more shows from across the globe that I'll start uploading. I have another one I just uploaded. Not ready to show it just yet, but it is a great show from the UK. Marcy, I'm glad you appreciated that. It is interesting that back in the 80s, deprogramming was something that people accepted. There were so many different cults in the news at that point. It was a whole flurry of these things. Well, from the Moonies to Hare Krishna to Children of God, now known as the Family. And then I believe I mentioned my favorite in the past, the Garbage Eaters. I forget what their official title was, but everyone knew them as the Garbage Eaters because members of this organization gave everything over to the leader. And then they spent a lot their time dumpster diving to find something to eat. That was the official practice of the organization. The leader said, "No, just jump in. You'll find something. You don't need anything more than the leftover scraps in the garbage." And I used to have some videotapes about them. I don't know that I have those existing anymore. Although I wish I did, because there's a lot of really fascinating videos I put online early on, and they were taken down. So just a suggestion from a YouTube watcher, just to throw out an idea. It would be nice if someone posted a timeline of these events and fair game, so it is easier to track. Well, there have been so many instances of fair game that it makes it very difficult to do that. But yeah, it's good to have an understanding of some of these major things that happened. Like, I think the Time magazine cover story was one great signpost. And then the takeover of the Cult Awareness Network was another. Lisa McPherson's death and Anonymous are the major signposts that I see on this journey. And I mentioned that at one point that we at the Lisa McPherson Trust put together a document that listed all the attacks that Scientology had done on Bob Minton. And it was pages and pages and pages of things filled with all sorts of different flyers and links to the news articles and all this kind of stuff. It was kind of amazing to see. And unfortunately, it was seen by more people than it was supposed to be because I accidentally posted it on Alt Religion Scientology when I thought I was emailing it to Ingrid, our receptionist who was working on that at the LMT. And Bob got grilled in deposition on virtually everything in that document. And I've got a copy of that somewhere. I think I'll, dig that out and put it up at some point. Yep. That's right. That's right. I used to use Outlook. That was the program that was on all of our computers at the LMT. And that has both email and the news groups in the same program. So if you weren't paying attention, you could easily screw up like that. Same way now when I'm on chat and I see somebody has responded to me or they're asking me something, and I just type in what I want to say to them, and I realize, oh, I just sent that to the wrong person. As I'm seeing, never mind. Yeah, I'm dopey. That's the only excuse for it. It's the type of mistake I have made repeatedly, and I've trained myself now to check before I do that. Jerry has a list of fair game on his website. Well, that's good. I haven't looked at a site in a while. Not the same Ingrid? Well, yeah, my Ingrid, I just saw on video as I was capturing stuff. Mary DeMoss was haranguing her on the streets of Clearwater at one point. Our Ingrid, I believe her, well, I won't give her a last name, but it was Ingrid W. And she was really nice. I haven't seen her in years. I used to, every once in a while when I'd come back to town, I would go out and have lunch with her, but I haven't seen her in a while. This is fighting words. Moxon sucks as a lawyer, says Danny, aka Daniel, in case you couldn't make that out. And them's fighting words for Miscavige, isn't it? You wouldn't make those mistakes if you simply fixed your reactive mind. You're right. I gotta grab the cans. Okay. This guy's a lot funnier than he is in those 3-hour diatribes that he does 4 times a year. Is there a book about that, David? About that at David Miscavige? I don't. There's no specific book about Slappy, is there? It's just that so many of the books that are written about it attack him viciously, and Slappy. I'm sure you agree that there's nasty attacks in these books, and then people come online and they just call you Slappy. And what are you going to do about it, huh? You're going to say that I was a stripper? I was a topless dancer? I dare you. Let's see. Did anyone post pictures from LRH's birthday event? I haven't seen any, but I haven't had a chance to look. Tony Ortega, I think I saw a headline. It was something about the birthday celebrations. Mark, I'm full of prunes. You lousy stinking. I am surprised nothing leaked yet. Aren't we all? Okay. So I was reminded of another video I have, and I haven't shown yet. This one is with Graham Berry. I had this online for many years, and I did upscale it recently. I haven't, found the time to play it yet. So I was thinking I should have Graham on to talk about that. But there was a time back in I think it was the late 90s, where Scientology got him labeled a vexatious litigant, suing just to harass. And they actually, made that stick in this courtroom. And the amazing thing about the hearing where he was called or labeled a vexatious litigant was the time that the guy who Scientology was paying to smear Graham, and they were paying him a fortune and giving him a job and a car and all sorts of stuff to keep him lying about Graham Barry. Well, that guy flipped and contacted Graham and then testified on his behalf and wrote affidavits about what Scientology did to convince him to lie. So I have an interview from outside the LA courthouse with Graham and that person. And it's very interesting. But it's amazing what they can do, the lengths that they'll go to try to destroy you. Goblin asks, can I talk a little bit about the process for archiving these old tapes, especially the mini DV tapes? Well, I mean, it is a struggle because the new the interface between the old devices and the computer is FireWire, and FireWire is kind of dead. So I have, let me see if I can bring this up here. I have an old laptop that does have FireWire. So I use that. And all of this is sitting right next to me. Because right next to me, I've got my DV deck, which handles the standard definition videos. But now the ones that are HD, that came a little later, I've got my lovely HD cam that I used to videotape everything. So I slapped the FireWire into this and into this ancient laptop that has been with me for at least 15 years, I think. Now, I had to find a used FireWire adapter here, and it didn't fit, or it fits, but it wouldn't stay in there. So I had to tape it down to the laptop so that there is a connection. And then I capture all those tapes onto a hard drive. And then I can take that into the big Mac station and do my editing there. And well, Slappy, you got everything. Yep, FireWire. It's nice to know. Would you mind if I come over and use some of your equipment? Because it'll make it a lot easier than what I've slapped together here. And look, going back to the beginning of the show, Lisa in Brooklyn. Oh, that's what it is. I was trying to make out the name there. Lisa in Brooklyn says Severance was awesome. Yes, it was. It was awesome. Mark, I believe Nibs passed away before you started interviewing. Yeah, that's true. By chance, in your storage, do you have any interviews with members of LRH's family? Otherwise, I requested Jesse Prince interview. The only person that I have from Hubbard's family is the grandson of Nibs, and that's Jamie DeWolf. Was Jamie Kennedy, when he first started speaking out about Scientology, and he came to visit Clearwater for the first time in, I don't know if it was 2000 or 2001, as one of the guys that we worked with here through a like a concert, a benefit concert for the LMT. Mike Croats was his name. And he invited Jamie Kennedy to come and host it, which he did. And it was really terrific to have him around town. I did interview him at that point in 2000 or 2001, and I interviewed him when I was on the road. And so I've got a couple interviews with him. I also have a radio show he did while he was in Clearwater with Bubba the Love Sponge. Then a shock jock, and now a more notorious shock jock. But Bubba was nice enough to let me bring my camera into the radio station, and I was videotaping the interview live there, and also recording it at home. So I had an audio recording for at least the first large chunk of it. I had, this was a dual cassette deck setup that I had where I could record off the radio and it would record both those tapes. And then when the tape ended, that's it. So I missed the ending of the audio from that, but I did have all the audio when I was filming it in the studio. So I'm going to be putting that together again as well. I've captured all of that. And Jamie changed his name a few years later to Jamie DeWolf, which was, Ron DeWolf's choice when he decided, I don't want to be L. Ron Hubbard Jr. anymore. And DeWolf was the family name for the mom, apparently. So Jamie decided he would be Jamie DeWolf because he looked remarkably, uncannily like the actor Jamie Kennedy. So there was a whole lot of confusion there. They were both these thin, wiry guys with red hair. And Jamie Kennedy, the actor, had a show on TV called The Jamie Kennedy Experience, I believe, at that point. So it made sense for him to become Jamie DeWolf. That's the sordid history of that. Isn't that exciting? But yeah, I do have all those interviews with Jamie that my plan is to put those up now. They were supposed to go toward the documentary, but I think it's time to start showing all of these. Thanks, Kelly. Janice and Mark thought he may come on their show. You thought maybe I had something in storage from the Lisa M days. Nope, I don't. Sorry. I put that on before I actually read what was talking about. Marcy doesn't blame Junior. Yeah, you don't have to. You can't really blame Junior. He did what he could to right the wrongs there, testifying at the Clearwater hearings and co-writing a biography of Hubbard, which he took his name off of before it was published. Was that Barefaced Messiah? I think he worked with Russell Miller on that one. Could be the other. There's another book that came out around the same time that was in the publicity, co-written by Hubbard's son. But then Nibs decided, I'm going to take a settlement and just get out of this entirely and take my name off that book. And I just made it all up. I don't think he made it all up, but that's what happens when you're willing to take the settlement. So, yeah, Jesse's done talking about Scientology. I also did, I was testing out some of the text-to-speech applications on the website that I use. And it's very hard to find this editorial that the St. Pete Times wrote at the end of Jesse's trial, where they lay out everything that Scientology did to entrap Jesse and try to destroy him in the court system. And at the end of it, the editorial ends with something like, "This is not like any church we know." So I have a copy of that editorial, and I did make a recording of it that I can play now, or I can put that online so you can hear it, because it's hard to keep digging it up. But I think I'm going to start archiving some things that way. Now, I can't remember if it was Messiah or Madman. There's another one called Barefaced Messiah. I think it's probably this one with Bent. But do I know that for sure? No, I don't. Nope. All right. So what else do you want to talk about? I thought I'd make it relatively short tonight. Look, it's only been 51 minutes, and that's, like I'm clearing my throat for 51 minutes normally and before we start anything. But I don't think that I have anything else terribly exciting. For the rest of the process of capturing all these videos, I've got my mini DV deck that handles these DV cam tapes and mini DV cam tapes, which are the same size as the HD, but don't play on the same programs. I've got two VCR decks here, one for American broadcasts and one that play videos from overseas. So I've got things here like this interview with Stacey Young. Did I play this already? I did capture this. I think we may have watched this. If not, we'll see it sometime soon. She was interviewed by Kurt Loder on MTV in the 90s. And she had all of the raw tape from it. So I've put that online over the years. And I have captured that. And have I upscaled it yet? I don't know. I have to look. It's so much stuff here that I've got piling up, and people are always asking me all the time, hey, can you dig this up? You think you got that TV show? You think, I've got a lot of stuff buried into some deprogramming tapes that were given to me. And these are from Europe that have a lot of different broadcasts on it. One of them I have ready for you. That is a really good story from inside Scientology with some hidden camera footage. And I think if you're interested, I can play that tomorrow night. It's a really good show. How is my here we go. Mark, last week you mentioned you were interviewing with Natalie. I can't find it. Was it pre-recorded? I saw the Alex interview. Actually, I had to bail on the Natalie one at the last minute because I was incredibly under the weather. So she was nice enough to forgive me for that, and we'll do it again at some point. But it was nice being on with Alex over in the UK, talking about how politicians get used by Scientology. And I don't have that on my channel, but you can find that on his channel. And I think it's interesting. I watched part of it again and thought, well, that didn't suck. I think there were some valuable things shared in there, and some points that I'm going to be taking back to the Clearwater Council in the next meeting when they actually have another vote on the L. Ron Hubbard Hall. I tested out some theories on Alex's stream. Yep, that's right. Natalie mentioned her guest canceled. There you go. I screwed up her whole schedule. Kelly says, I hope some of the council members in the UK saw that interview. Well, I hope so too. I hope they take it to heart, because it's important to know that, oh, sure, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong, and you get to hobnob with Tom Cruise, and you're there in a beautiful manner, and they're treating you like royalty, and yeah, they're using you. They're using you. And if they watch, I hope that message gets through. Well, this is terribly exciting. David Miscavige, I really appreciate that. The L. Ron Hubbard Hall, everyone is welcome. I would like to come to the grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony, and I hope that you have a really great program scheduled for that night, because I would love to be front row center. And I'm worried it just might be that barbershop quartet. What are their names? I can't remember who they are, but I hope you get some. You can get a lot of the people who go right from the Kennedy Center now over to the LRH Hall. I'm sure it'll be spectacular programming at both. Am I going to try? Am I going to try for the Clearwater Council again? Maybe. And Kim White says, thanks for sharing your gems with us. It's always interesting. Well, I'm glad you like it. I like sharing that with you. And let's see what Miscavige has to say now. Mark, I hope to see you there. I can get you a second row behind Tom. Hey, that'd be okay. I sometimes worry about somebody tall in front of me, but if I'm right behind Tom, that'd be perfect. Good planning. Okay. I'm quite a fine singer myself. You might want to have me come in and do a little something there in the hall. And by doing something, I don't mean taking a dump. I mean singing. Of course, it could be confused with that. I don't know, Kelly, if you've been starring anything, or if there's some comments that I've missed here. Let me take a look at what Lemuel is saying here. There's an important election happening in Aurora, Illinois, that is relative to the agenda of Scientology. The incumbent Mayor Irvin is a known Trump supporter and is known to accept shady campaign donations. Sounds about right. If Scientology builds an org in the biggest city in Illinois, I wouldn't want them building one in the second biggest. And the man challenging the mayor stands against accepting any unfair donations or bribes. Well, vote for that other guy then. You want the one who's not taking bribes. That's the first, most important key when you're voting. Don't vote for the guy taking bribes unless, of course, you're bribing the person. So I think it's incumbent upon you then to get something from your money. So you vote for that person. But if anyone else is bribing them, they're not worthy of office. And like I had anything I could bribe anyone with. Speaking of it, if you want to help me get some money to bribe politicians to help in the Scientology case, you can buy my merch. get yourself a nice Xenu TV mouse pad or shirt or hat, all sorts of fun stuff. Oh, and there's a super sticker. This helps too. Oh, how about that? Not a streamer, bro. $9.99 comes in handy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If Jeff ever makes it to Clearwater, he'd love to take a tour around. Well, I don't blame you. I'd be happy to show folks around. Is there any footage of my theater days? There is me singing If I Were a Rich Man in Glendale, California. And it's a video that Scientology liked. So, I mean, Kelly, if you were to do a Google for Mark Bunker, If I Were a Rich Man, I think you could locate that. Oh, look at it. Miss Cabbage has a Xenu TV hat, and he wore it golfing at the golf course in Hemet. Well, I'm honored. I am honored. Oh, look at that. Look at that right there. This is the way Kelly is. I mentioned merch store, boom, she's right on top of it. It's extremely exciting to be spotted wearing my merch. Yep, we've got Wise Beard Man stuff. We've got Mecca hats instead of MAGA. We've got Make Clearwater Clear Again, and shortened MCCA. That's Mecca, and of course Clearwater is Scientology's Mecca. So it's very clever. Trust me. Boy. All right. Have I run into any of the Scientologists from the LMT days? Yeah, every once in a while. I mentioned the other day that I see the security guard, Antonio, who was out there every single day with the police officers protecting Scientology from me and the other LMT members. So him I see all the time. Oh, Marcy's going to window shop. Oh boy, so exciting. You probably want to get a National Treasure mug. There's a cool. Lots of fun stuff there in the store. And they make great gifts. What's coming up? May Day? No, there's got to be something before. Yeah. You really don't need a reason to give your loved one Wise Beard Man merch. It's an everyday occasion that. Mark Bunker, If I Were a Rich Man. How about that? So I should be able to open this up, and I've forgotten how. Boop. What do I need to do here? Look, I'll just look for it myself. You folks, talk among yourselves for a moment. How dare you? How dare you? Mark Bunker, If I Were a Rich Man is not the very first thing that comes up. There's all these, like Mark Levin, Mark Wills, Mark Zuckerberg, for God's sakes. What? Oh, for God's sakes. This is how good that Kelly is, that she was able to find it. Oh, it's a private chat. There you go. Thank you. All right, here we go. So let me share this page, and then we can all be dazzled by my Tevye. Hold on. Let me pause it there and come back in here. And Again, smooth. Everything's smooth here. I got a whole production team behind me saying, oh, go ahead, click that button. Share screen. How about that? If I were a rich man, how about that? Share. Okay. And let's make that full screen. Oh, well, let's skip that ad, shall we?
Today, I am a horse. Oh, dear Lord. Did you have to just before the Sabbath? That wasn't nice. It's enough to pick on me, can't you? Bless me with 5 daughters.
Oh, you don't want to miss a moment of this.
Today, I am a horse. Oh, dear Lord. Did you have to make my poor horse lose his shoe just before the Sabbath? That wasn't nice. It's enough to pick on me, can't you? Bless me with 5 daughters, a life of poverty. What do you have against my horse? Sometimes I think when things are a little too quiet up there, you say to yourself, let's see, what kind of mischief can I play on my good friend Terry?
So, you're finally home, my breadwinner.
I'll talk to you later.
What happened to your horse?
He was invited to the blacksmith for the Sabbath.
Hurry up. The sun won't wait for you, and I have something to say to you.
As the good book says, heal us, O Lord, we shall be healed. In other words, send us the cure. We have the sickness already. I'm not complaining. After all, with your help, I'm starving to death. Oh, dear Lord, you made many, many poor people. Oh, I realize, of course, it's no shame to be poor, but it's no great honor either. So what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune? If I were a rich man, all day long I'd be about. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a very rich man, I'd build a big tall house with room for 12 right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with 3 wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. I filled my yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see it here. Squawking just as noisily as they can. And each would laugh like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man. If I was a rich man, if I were a big rich man, I see my wife, my good look like a rich man's wife, a rubber double chin. So her mighty heels were hard to delight. I see her putting on airs, strutting like a peacock. I was a happy she's in, screaming at her servant. hand like the most important man in town will come to fall on me. Never ask me to advise them, like King Solomon the Wise. If they need Reptavia, but in me Reptavia, posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. Yabba-dee-yada, yabba-da-da-da. And it won't make one bit difference if I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If I were rich right now, the time that I lack to sit in the synagogue and pray, maybe have a seat on Eastern Wall, and I discuss the holy books with learned men 7 hours every day. That would be the all. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd be Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you be free, I show me what I am. But it spoils some nasty girl's plan. I were a wealthy man.
There you have it. How about that? Let me turn that off.
Hey guys, me Sam Stein, managing editor
hey,
at the
Matt,
book. I'm
Sam
joined
Stein.
by Tim Miller.
Boom. Thank you. So I see that, and all I can see are the things that, oh man, I wish I'd done that better. But I'm thrilled that I got to do the show for at least 4 months. And Goblin asks, did Theater Round pose any unique challenges compared to a typical proscenium? Well, it is a different beast. And I worked at another dinner theater in Wisconsin for, I think, 3 years on and off. That's a theater in the round. So you kind of get used to it. It means somebody somewhere is watching you at any moment, so you can't let your guard down. And it also, it makes it more intimate for the audience. I don't think that it's not my favorite, because I think a stage with a setting that you can really enjoy rather than just little set pieces you pick up and carry off. I think all that it adds to a show, but certainly it's incredibly intimate, and people can get wrapped up in the story that way. So that's that. And I had that clip on. Oh, wait a minute. Did I have that clip online? No, I don't think so. Well, maybe I did, because when Scientology first put up a smear site about me, in it said, and he clearly has talent. His Tevye was good. I thought, well, good. The people who hate me, Scientology is trying to destroy me, and yet they liked my Tevye. Oh, and right at the end of the song, I do this, up to the sky. It was more dramatic when I had more room. I stole that from Zero Mistel. I saw him do that when he did the song on the Tonys, I think 1 year. I went, okay. All right. Nora, fat fingers typing here. Does anyone think a certain no hair YouTube creator remind you of a middle-aged L. Ron Hubbard? I'm not certain who you're referring to. So it's probably, if it's somebody in this greater circle of people who are out there with their live streams now, I am just unaware of who that might be. A couple starred. Oh boy. Oh, look, I can just put, I didn't know this. Look, there's a little tab said starred. How about this? Fuzzy pink handcuffs. Question. Is Joe Childs still around? Forgive me. And this is me in my dotage or dotage. Joe Childs. I think the person I'm associating with Joe Childs, I think worked at a TV station as a news director or something, assistant news director. Is there a different Joe Childs that I should be thinking of? Or am I just mistaken completely? He may or may not be around, depending on who he is. Sorry. Let's see. We did talk about running into Scientologists from the LMT days every once in a while. Nasty Nathaniel, Xenu TV. I know I keep saying this, but you truly are a legendary SP. You can keep saying it. I don't care. Come back every day and say it. Now you have all of these so-called protesters who are just jumping on the bandwagon, but you are the real deal. You know, they're real deals as well. I mean, we all contribute in our own way. Some are preferable to some people, some to others. I'm certainly that there are folks out there who do not find it charming that I'm sitting here stumbling around trying to remember the names of people like Joe Childs. And they say, get out there in the streets. What are you doing, Bunker? You're just sitting there in your spacious, Xenu TV studio. Joe, there you go. Of course, Joe Childs. Appreciate that. St. Pete Times reporter, of course. And do I have it next to me? No. I have his picture in the other room. Dang it. I can't believe I blanked on his name. He's still around. I don't think he's working at the paper anymore. I could be wrong. Tom Tobin is still on the staff there. And Joe Childs and Tom Tobin were the people who nurtured Tracy McManus, kind of got her up to speed when she came to town to take on the Scientology beat. And, they did a great job getting her up and running. And it's a shame she had to leave town because there's nobody who's going to be on that beat doing it as well as she did. And I don't know that there's anyone assigned to the beat right now. There was one article about this last council meeting that it was not, there were at least one error in there that Tracy wouldn't have had, and I don't mean to be critical. It's just my concern that the paper does not have the financial wherewithal now to actually cover the beats that they used to so strongly, because the whole industry is hurting. So that's not, oops. So that's you know, that's the way things go. Let's see. Here's a question from Goblin that he was afraid might have been buried in the chat earlier, and it was. As a movie fan, have you made the transition to 4K Blu-ray? I have some, and I tell you, I haven't used my Blu-ray player in years. You know, I've ripped all of my Blu-rays and have them on hard drives and use Plex as my media server. And it's so much more convenient than, you know, going over. Although, you know, I've got a few dozen Blu-rays left over here. And, you know, I mentioned at Christmas, I gave myself a treat of The In-Laws on 4K Blu-ray from Criterion with Alan Arkin and Peter Falk, one of my all-time favorite comedies, with their commentary track on it and extra documentaries that were made with cast and crew. So yeah, I certainly do love Blu-rays, but I love them more for the fact that they can cram a lot of great information on them that I can then rip and put on my hard drive. It's so much more convenient to just sit there with the remote and go through and find everything that you could possibly want to see. And then the other 4K Blu-ray I purchased was the first 5 Marx Brothers films, which I couldn't believe this. 5 Marx Brothers movies, Coconuts, Animal Crackers, Monkey Business, Horse Feathers, and Duck Soup, all with commentary tracks, and then some extra stuff packed onto the disc as well. Those are ripped on a hard drive too. How about that? Yep, Plex is the way to go. Plex is incredible. Let's see. Anything else that I missed? Anything else you want to talk about? Johnny Meyer says, don't worry, we can only remember like 150 names approximately. Some theory, I can't remember the name of the person's name, though, whose theory that is, which is ironical. You're right. But I tell you, that 150 drops way down when you get up there. And, you know, I don't think of myself as old, but every once in a while I go, wait a minute. I'm old. I stand up and I feel old. Can't remember as a kid thinking, oh, Lordy, I don't know why they can't remember any names of anything. And now I'm about on the same level as Tori. Just imagine if the Marx Brothers themselves could have recorded commentary tracks. Yeah, I'd love to hear what Harpo has to say. I wish, you know, and it's the, you know, amazing thing that Harpo went through his career without talking at all on any recorded format. Although he did give a retirement farewell performance at the Hollywood Bowl, and he was on a double bill with the comic songwriter Alan Sherman from Hello Mutta Hello Fata fame. And this was when Alan Sherman was at his peak, and you know could have an audience there at the Hollywood Bowl. So I read Alan Sherman's biography a long time ago, his autobiography, and he was talking about the fact that, you know, what a great thrill it was to have Harpo there. And Harpo did speak from the stage in that show. He did his routine, which included all the things like all the knives falling out of his sleeve, and, you know, he did that in a bunch of movies and TV shows. But when it was time for his vows, he said, as I was about to say 50 years ago, and that brought down the house. And apparently he had a very strong like Brooklyn accent. This is interesting. David Miscavige, what if I told you I know a way to get your memory back like you were 18 years old again? Oh my God, sign me up. What do I have to do? I'll be there. I'll grab the cans. You know, I'm all wrong about the Scientology stuff. Listen, buy a book. It's going to change your life. I can't tell you more than that. Just, you know, come down to the org. Just bring your wallet, as Kelly says. Heavens. So, you know, I thought this would be a short one. I thought, oh, we're going to be done in a half an hour. And I'm still babbling away. I don't see any reason to keep you here. I think we can call it a night. Now, if there's anything else you wanted to ask, I'd be happy to answer because I am that type of guy. I'm here to serve. Otherwise, I think we might as well, you know, just relax and kick back, and I'll go watch my DVR'd Rachel Maddow episode. Keep us as long as you want. Well, that's dangerous. You know, I think it's good to just come back tomorrow night and then look. You know, we have COB coming back. Good night, Mark. I'm happy we can use communications in this way to become friends. A great first step. I have to agree. Now, you're not at all like I imagined. You know, and I've good heavens. I was hurt. I was really hurt when you were going to have all the council members come in when I was still on the council, except for me, to kind of pitch your project, your downtown redevelopment. I felt a little slighted. But now, if we can be friends, I think it'd be great. And we can start doing streams together. If you don't mind, I know you're going to have, I'm behind it now. I'm behind the L. Ron Hubbard Hall now. I would love to perform, and I would like to be there for the ribbon cutting. And let's make that happen. All right. Johnny's wondering if he can get a 35-year-old's memory for half the price. All right. Thanks, Mark. Awesome. Marcy, thank you. Thank you. What? Mark, that was another lie. Every negative thing you've heard about Scientology and myself is false. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would love to come. Can I drop by your office? That okay? I'll be there tomorrow. Okay. We will. You're going to have me at the ribbon cutting. Oh, God bless you. Yes, we stand tall. Oh, boy, I can't wait. All right, everybody. It is time to say goodnight. And thank you so much for coming here. We'll be back tomorrow with other fun, exciting things, although I don't have any other songs for you to hear. Everybody, I really appreciate you being here. Everybody, Kelly. Everybody thank Kelly. She is a godsend. All right. So to all of you, I wish you a wonderful rest of the evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.